Biohazard warning. Entering contaminated zone. Transmissions jammed. Proximity coverage only. Backup activated. System rebooted.
Agents, what's up guys? Hope your weekend is off to one badass start. First things first, before we get into the guns, this week's State of the Game was one of the longest they have ever had, and for good reason. It is absolutely packed full of stats as well as a starting point for some of the changes coming in Update 1.4. Now this whole thing is an ambitious move, and while I don't know what to think about this world level thing quite yet, the rest seems to be a pretty solid start, and I cannot wait to hear more. So if you haven't watched this week's State of the Game yet, the link is right here. Click this bad boy, and I highly recommend all of you watch it. It is the start of something great. Okay guys, let's do the damn thing. It is Friday, September 16th, and this is your Division Weekly Weapon Restock Guide. As usual, up the stairs we go to check out this special equipment vendor number 1, and let's see if RNGesus can restore some faith. Alright guys, first up, the Historian, 673 credits and a gear score of 204. 147% headshot damage, and unless it's in the 170 percentile, it's not really worth taking a look. So, moving along, first up we have an AUG A3 Para XS for 637 Phoenix credits. Great critical hit damage here at 46%. 725 rounds per minute with 25 in the magazine, unmodded. Talents are meticulous, determined, and adept. So, there's the downfall, y'all. Not much you can do here besides reroll for fierce, so you can have an all-around decent SMG. Also, it's possible to try and reroll for brutal and then let pulse pick up your critical shots, but that's your call. Not a bad weapon, but I'm sure you all have something better out there by now. Next up, we have one of my favorite SMGs, the MP5 ST for 630 Phoenix credits. Low critical hit percentage at 38, 800 rounds per minute, 32 in the mag unmodded. Talents are destructive, predatory, and self-preserved. You know, this has its up and downs, guys. It's rolled on the higher side in terms of damage, but on the super low side for critical hit damage. Talents are mediocre as well, but destructive is always useful. Just like the AUG above this, reroll for brutal, deadly, or fierce, combined with pulse, and you will have a pretty good SMG on your hands. But is it worth 600 credits? Probably not. The 182 here is an LSW, bad talents, really not worth noting. Alright, well that was quick guys. Let's head downstairs and check out the next vendor on the tour, and that is the second special equipment vendor. Hopefully he can try and help his friends out by selling something a little more decent. Alright ladies and gents, let's take a look. As usual, the Historian number 2 is up. I see 144% headshot damage, that means we're not going to look at it. Next we have an SMG 9 for 638 Phoenix credits. 38% critical hit damage, 825 rounds per minute with 32 in the mag unmodded. Talents are deadly, unforgiving, and swift. This has the makings of something pretty decent here, guys. In all honesty, I haven't used this weapon since the good old DPS days back during the Falcon Lost era. And since it wasn't as good as the Vector back then, I didn't use it for very long. And it probably hasn't changed that much. But the two things this has going for it is its high reload speed and rate of fire. Its damage is equal to that of an MP5 with a faster rate of fire. But like most SMGs, it has terrible range. This weapon starts you out with 65% critical hit damage in total, so if you could reroll for fierce and then mod it up with critical hit chance as much as you can, then this might not be a bad weapon at all. You can push a lot of bullets downrange really quickly with this little weapon, and if you mod for more rate of fire, well, that's just going to help it out. Hate that it's a 204, but if you feel like experimenting, this could be the one. Alright y'all, next a tactical M249, and you all know how LMGs and I get along. This is no different. 627 Phoenix credits with a 28% damage out of cover buff, 550 rounds per minute with 100 in the mag unmodded. Talents, skilled, restored, and destructive. Like I said, destructive is always a welcomed perk, but this weapon class just needs help, so it is definitely a pass. The 182 down here is a SOCOM M1A, and it has an awesome 170% headshot damage, but absolutely terrible talents. Now, if you're still in the campaign and you need a lower level marksman's rifle, this one really isn't that bad, but I'm sure you'll find way better ones out there in the world, especially at 182. Alright, our next stop to the blueprints vendor. Sometimes he sneaks in a decent print every once in a while, but most are nothing all that interesting. This week we have a custom L86A2. This is the big brother of the LSW. It's 464 credits, but you can craft it to make it beastly. The L86 can roll with decent damage and decent rate of fire, considering most of them are in the 500 rounds per minute range. If you can roll for 10k damage and add close to 30% damage out of cover with some decent talents on top of it, you're going to have the best LMG in the game. Something worth considering. Alright guys, well we're done here in the base of operations, and now our next stop is to the underground. I'm still waiting for the planets to align so that the most beastly RNGesus blessed weapon will drop in the 229 category, but so far the planets are all out of whack. Alright, let's dive in. First up, we have an enhanced PP19 for 877 Phoenix credits. This is a 229 weapon and ranked locked at level 40. Good critical hit damage at 42% with 700 rounds per minute, 53 in the mag unmodded. Talents are where this thing drops off, with the rest of them skilled, sustained, and hurried. While it has decent damage and decent critical hit damage, that's about all it has. Like usual, roll for fierce or brutal and use with pulse to grab some more DPS. As far as the bones go, this is a great canvas, guys, if only the talents had something to work with. Other than that, not a bad weapon at all. Next up, we have an enhanced G36 for 717 Phoenix credits. Gear scored at 204 and ranked locked at level 20. 19% enemy armor damage, 750 rounds per minute with 30 in the mag unmodded. Talents are adept, self-preserved, and focused. Again, talents let us down. You can treat this like an SMG and roll for the usuals, fierce, brutal, deadly, etc. Or you can go for extra armor shred and just use pulse. Personally, I do neither, and both options aren't really worth it. The 182 is another G36, a little better damage, but talents are pretty much the same deal. Alright, that wraps us up here. Time to head back topside and over to the DZ. I was kind of shocked to hear that they weren't going to do anything major to the Dark Zone in 1.4, but they insist the experience will be way better with all the changes they're making to the agents themselves and the gear. That supposedly is going to change how the DZ is played. I don't know, we'll see, so here's hoping. Okay, well, let's head inside and check it out. You guys ready for it? And take a look. That all gives me hope, and hopefully whatever's covering up the 229, it's going to be something beast. And nope. Alright guys, well, first up, the 204 Black Market RPK 74E. 97,000 DZ dollars, and it's ranked locked at 80. 29% damage out of cover, that's pretty good. 650 rounds per minute with 45 in the mag. However, the damage roll is not that great and definitely towards the low end of what this gun can roll for. Talents are stable, dominant, and self-preserved. This is an absolute pass. Stable is always nice, and so is that 29% damage out of cover, but there's nothing here to fix up. Next, we have a tactical AUG A3P for 96,000 DZ dollars. Gear score of 204 and ranked locked at 80 as well. Awesome critical hit damage here at 45% with 725 rounds per minute, 25 in the mag unmodded. Talents are dominant, predatory, and brutal. If you can land fierce on a reroll, this has the makings of a really good weapon. Add some pulse for a little extra kick, and boom, you are in business. But even without pulse, you'll have a weapon that will land crits and hit hard headshots, which is what I always look for in a weapon. I always look for one that'll do a good job with or without skills. Okay, now for the disappointment of the week by far. Here we have one of only two vendors that sell 229 weapons, and it's a freaking sidearm, a bad one at that. So it's a first wave PF45 for 193,000 DZ dollars, 600 rounds per minute, 12 in the mag with expert and predatory. You guys already know about this one. Don't even try to buy it. A definite pass. And I actually can't believe it's almost 200k for a crusty sidearm. Massive please. Alright guys, well that's it for the weapons, and the only thing left are some blueprints that also lead to depressing disappointment. The Valkyria, another sidearm, the PX4 Storm Type T, and a SOCOM MK20 SSR. It's one of those DMR type marksman's rifles, low damage, slightly faster rate of fire, and definitely does not beat out an M1A or the good old trusty bolt action. Alright agents, well that wraps us up for another week of the vendor reset. The buys of the week are the AUG, the SMG 9, and the PP19, so definitely a submachine gun week. None of them are god rolls, but they do have enough to be pretty good. Okay guys, make sure you all watch the State of the Game video. The link is also in the description box below. It is full of news about what's to come and also full of interesting facts about the current state of the game. By the way, I announced all of the winners of the giveaway yesterday, so if you entered, make sure you check out the winner announcement video right here, or it's also in the description box below. If you did win, get in touch with me soon. You need to claim the prize by the 18th, or another name will be called. Rise of Iron comes out on Tuesday, and I want players to be able to play it day one if they win. So I will redraw names on the 18th for those who do not claim it here soon. But that's it for me, guys. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see what's in store for the Division and what other changes we can look forward to in the next update. Looking forward to making more Division vids when the new update and DLC start to drop. I'm definitely having some withdrawals on that, and definitely look forward to it. By the way, if you want to stay in touch or in the know about anything Destiny, Rise of Iron, or the Division, follow me on Twitter at SlyNation. It's a great place to see all the latest secrets being discovered and all of the most recent uploads coming out of SlyNation. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone, and I'll see you all here very soon. But until then, this is your boy Sly. Done, gone, out.
Okay, Agent, I'm impressed. Like I'm gonna be too busy.